car fixed. And Terry, I think you're keeping up. You passed the first two. So about everybody has passed the first two. And is Savannah keeping up?
And Nicole has her first three. So she's working on advance.
Okay, good. Okay. So now we will over to Jeff and Linda. Now, number one, Jeff may need to make a shared responsibility paper. Did we put faults on that? What'd you have, Sarah?
It's false.
All right, we got number one. We'll get to some more in a minute. And Hillary, I hope you and Terry are listening to these for basic. This is may or may not be exact the way they are on the exam. All right. You see, folks, we're not cheating. IRS gave us these. They sent them to me from Charleston. Pre-testing, practice test. We're just working them together. If Sarah's got some answers to help us, you know.
Using the resources you have available to you. That's what it's called.
All right. But now I will tell you this. We are in the middle, right on the edge of being unethical.
It's very, very gray area.
But we haven't crossed that edge yet, so we're okay. Now, number two. Linda does not need to make a shared responsibility payment. We put true since she was on.
Yep, she would qualify for a short gap.
So we put true. All right, but now some of them get harder that we stopped that the other day because I didn't want to give an answer and not be short. Now, the interview basic scenario is for Ava Harvard. Now, number three, we put false on that one. She's getting there. What do you think, Sarah?
I put B false.
All right, number four, though, because the laws have changed, David and Ava's qualified person for which of the following? David is Ava's qualified person. Now, who was David? David was the son, right? Full-time student. Now, Sarah, we put probably C, education credit, but can they get another one? 4.
You can check as many. It's 3 credits. 3 of those are correct. 1 is wrong. You had to select all that applied. A, head of household. B, credit for other dependents. And C, education credit.
All 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, head of household, that makes sense.
The only one he wasn't eligible for is the child tax credit because he is over the age of 17.
He's over 17. Well, I know we ruled that one out. Credit for other dependents. Where did that come in at?
I don't remember.
I don't know where that came in at, but anyway, we'll buy that. Number 5. Now, did you have to do this one?
This isn't a scenario.
This is Ellen. Now, did you have to put this in the practice lab?
No, you won't get it until question 14.
All right, let's do number 5. Number 5, we're going with D, or I think we went with D. Well, she's 62. Does that give her an extra credit? Extra standard?
She also provides the support for her 2 grandchildren who lived with her all year long.
And what does that give her?
Head of household.
And head of household gets what, 18,000?
18,000.
All right, so the answer C, folks. I knew that would probably go up with head of household. Married Paul Jones is 24. All right, the maximum amount of additional child tax credit that Ellen is able to claim per child is. The first child tax credit is 1,000.
Nope.
No, I'm talking about the first, but this one's got to be less than 1,000, so it'd have to be 500. What?
Child tax credit changed this year. It is $2,000 per child for the tax credit.
That's
the
right,
child
isn't
tax
it?
credit.
That's
The
right.
additional tax credit is the refundable portion, and you can only refund up to $1,400
Refundable portion, that's all she had paid in, right?
per child. No, the refundable portion is the credit from the
Per
2,000. So you don't pay anything into it. It's kind of like an earned income credit, but so she would be eligible for 1,400, which is a total of 2,800 for the 2 kids.
All right.
So the answer is short.
So that had went up from 1,000 to 2,000. Trump did this to try to help people with children.
Where we changed the exemption amount.
Okay, then we got to Christopher and Amanda Dury. And I guess number 7, we hadn't decided yet. Can Chris and Amanda claim Jennifer as a qualified child for the earned income credit? I think it had to be yes. And
so the question is, can Christopher and Amanda claim Jennifer as a qualifying child for EIC?
it's what?
That's the question?
It should be A answer.
No,
What?
because Christopher and Amanda have ITINs. They cannot claim the earned income credit.
That's right. Oh,
So
they
the
do have
answer is C.
ITNs, don't they? So no, what, Seaport?
Yeah, C.
Yeah, see, they do have the ITNs. Okay. Little things. Now, which credits can Clifford and Amanda claim on their tax return, even though they have a TIN? Tentatively, we circled D for child tax credit and dependent care credit.
Mhm.
All right, so they can still get those credits even though they have TINs.
Yes.
We were okay there. Now, we move up to Matthew and Ashley. Tufts. Or Tufts? T-U-F-T.
Tuft.
Which of the following statement is true? Number 9. I think tentatively we put C. What have you got, Sarah?
I had D and it was incorrect.
Oh, D, we know is incorrect. All right, so let's don't make the same mistake Sarah did. She put D. Now, for some reason, we ruled that one out.
What is the?
Married filing separately and Matthew filing head of household. So that means that Matthew's not able to claim his children, so he then has to file single.
I think if one files separate, the other one has to file separate.
They're not married to each other.
They're not married.
Yeah, they live together. Matthew's never been married, but Ashley is still legally married to another man.
Okay, they've never been married. Ashley's filing status is separate and Matthew's filing status is single. We chose C, Sarah.
So I would go with C. If you guys get that question, please let me know if it's right.
A is out. A is out because she is not single. And why do we rule B out? Ashley's eligible to claim head of household.
Because to claim head of household, she would have to be able to claim single and then claim his children. So that would be single with dependents.
Yeah. So she can't file. Okay, C is your answer, guys. Okay. Maybe we'll get that one right where Sarah got it wrong. Okay. 10. Who can claim Mark and Kevin as qualified children for earned income credit? Now, Mark and Kevin, are they both Matthew's kids?
Yes. This is where I went back and changed, I believe, my answer to D on the last one because of this answer.
Who can claim Mark and Kevin as qualified children for earned income credit? First off, they're not related to Ashley, are they?
No, but she did provide,
Over half their support.
Yes.
I'm still going to go with B, Matthew.
Matthew is that's the correct answer. It's Matthew, and that's why I went back and changed
Okay.
my answer to D on the other one, because you would think.
Even with the tax law changes, we got to be careful. Well, he's changed a little bit. Now we're moving up scenario with George and Helen Reed, and we've got a test question. We didn't get to this one, but real quickly, folks, George and Helen have a 18-year-old son, Josh, who lives with them all year as a college student. George and Helen provide all support for Josh and all the cost of keeping up their home. Josh worked during the year and received wages of $2,000. He had $140 of federal withholding. The Reeds have a balance due on their return and are unsure of what to do. George, Helen, and Josh are all U.S. citizens. Okay, this should be an easy scenario, but we'll look at the question. What action should George and Helen take to prevent having a balance due next year?
What would you guys,
We didn't get to it.
if you had someone come up to you and they owed money but they didn't think they should, what would you tell them?
We know C is
Well, there's no way to prevent a balance due. So there's C. C is already out. Because there is a way to prevent a balance due.
C is out. Most common people out there can't use an employment any kind of calculator. All right,
It's D, both A and B.
A and B.
Mhm.
Okay, but the best answer to that question, though, if somebody asked you, go tell them to amend their W-4.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if they're claiming two, no, you don't get nothing for exemptions now. Just go claim an additional withholding of $100 a week or whatever.
I think the W-4s still work the same way.
They might.
So I'd still tell them, what I've always told people is if you're single, claim single zero. Even if you have children, claim single zero. If you're married and the person with the highest income should claim married withhold at higher single. And then the spouse with the lower income should claim married one.
You should not want to have to owe IRS a bunch at the end of the year. And you don't want to get back a major refund either, because IRS has used your money all year. I always owed IRS. And when I passed the enrolled agent exam, Mr. Imel, I got him to also encourage him, and he's an enrolled agent.
I'm going to be getting mine probably shortly after graduation for
Well,
next year.
Sarah, you could probably pass.
I'd pass it now.
You
But
can pass the individual easy right now. But you got the corporation part, business part.
I did good in that part.
Mm.
I helped Philip with business. I give him advice to take to his accountants, and they always take the recommendation because it's the right thing.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, with the enrolled agent part, I promised them that I would pay estimated taxes. I was pretty good at it for a while, but I've hesitated. I still owe them every year. Okay, number 11 is D. 12, what options do George and Helen have if they are not able to full pay their balance due by the due date? If you can't pay it by the due date, you gotta do something. Wait to file their return until they have the money. A is definitely out. You gotta file your return on time.
Which means D is out, which I accidentally clicked D.
So D would be out. File Form 4868, application for automatic extension of time to file U.S. tax return. Pay as much as they can by the due date or the return and request a payment plan. Sarah, both of those look correct.
I accidentally clicked D because I meant to click C.
C is your best option. Pay what you can. And
Because if you apply for an extension, you still have to pay.
You're supposed to pay what you owe anyway, yeah.
So,
So C is pay as much as you can and ask for an installment statement. And 13, George and Helen asked if their son Joshua should file a tax return. How would you answer him? Well, he paid in how much taxes?
he received wages of 2,000 and 140 federal withholding.
Well, I'm sure he could use that 140, right? That can't get it unless you file. So leave A out, B out. I'm going to say D, but is there a C a possibility?
What did I said D, and I was correct.
All right. You got to file a return to get back money. Now we're over scenario 7, Jacob and Martha.
Do you want the?
Huh?
Do you want
Yeah.
that?
Is this one of those big ones?
No, that's the advanced. I haven't done those yet.
Wait, this is what?
That's the basic ones.
This is Jacob and Martha.
Yeah.
All right. Now, is he going to ask us? Now, you went into what, the practice
The
lab?
practice pro lab using Train Pro Web, my login info and everything.
Yeah, we shouldn't need to go into the practice lab to answer most of these, right? You
Most
got
of them, yeah.
a lot of forms here, folks. W-2s, 1099-Rs, and more W-2s, 1099-I interest. Now we got questions. Let's see what we can do on page 39. What is the amount of gambling winnings carried on Jacob and Martha's 2018 tax return? I don't know, how much did they win?
It is on page 37.
All right, go to 37 and see what they won, folks. 2,000? All right, they include all. C. Number 15, Jacob and Martha could claim 2,000 qualified education expenses to calculate Daniel's working opportunity credit. All right, they should have a statement from the college. So how much did he pay in tuition? Is that on page 39, Sarah, 38?
Which is it, tuition?
His college tuition.
It's on 38.
38, he had payments of 7,000. Scholarships was 55. That only leaves 1,500, right?
Look below.
Huh?
There's 2 of them there. There's books
Is there another? Where's that
right
at?
below it.
Oh, below it.
500.
500, so that's up to 2,000.
And that's the max you can claim for the American Opportunity.
That's true. 15 is true, right?
15 is true.
$2,000. 17, the amount of Martha and Jacob's standard deduction is. Again, we don't have to go to the computer to find that. Now, the standard deduction married filing jointly is usually 24,000.
Now, I do have one thing to say.
Yes.
On 15, when we do those, make sure they did not claim it in 2 prior years, because Jacob's on his 3rd year of education.
He's on his 3rd year.
But it doesn't say if that's this year or, so they could have already claimed it for 2 years.
2 years would be the opportunity credit. What is the last 2 years? It's not lifetime learning, is it?
Lifetime learning.
Okay.
So,
All right. So Sarah, is number 16, no, wait a minute, number 15.
number 15 was true,
All right.
that they can claim 2,000.
Number 16 is what? We'd have to work out a social security form, what?
And that would be in the, right here. And it would be on page, and the tax returns are completely different from before too.
Oh, I know.
They're like really short, like that is page 1.
I know, but you got 4 pages sometimes instead of 2.
Okay, it'd be on page 2 of your income tax form. So I don't know the exact base number.
They printed out all those W-2s again, didn't they?
Mhm.
All right, page 2,
Of the IRS form, 1040.
it says 7169 taxable. All right, fellas, if you got number 16, the answer is C. Number 16, the answer is C. But Terry, you and Hillary and Savannah should work out this scenario on the computer. But I'd like for Clayton and Cole and Jonathan all to work this out, even though you have a copy of it. Number 17, the amount of Mark and Jacob standard deduction. Is that 24,000 or do they qualify for something extra?
I qualify for something extra.
What will give them a bigger standard deduction? They're not old.
Their age.
Oh, were they old? Let me go back and look. See, that's where I've got to be careful too. What did it say they were? Oh, he's 65. When you're 65, you get a bigger standard deduction. So looking at those new tables, which I don't have, they may be in your hardcover tax book. But what amount would that be, Sarah? It's something bigger than 24?
It's 26,600. Which you'd find on.
They got 1,300 apiece extra. Keep that in mind, right? 1,300 apiece extra?
You would find that information on line 8 of page 2.
On the tax return.
Yep, line 8, page 2. $26,600. They got an additional 1,300 apiece. We read that somewhere in the hard book. We're going to enter a lot of these from your tax book. Number 18, which of the following items are included in the total payment on Jacob and Martha's tax return? Well, federal income tax withheld are $400 applied from the 2017 return. That works too. A and B works. The C works there. Is the answer D, all the above? Yes.
Refundable credits is the same as money, okay? Okay, 19, what form must be used to split Jacob and Martha's refund? Why they want to split their refund?
We've never had that before, but we have had people ask. I don't think they had this form before.
They didn't.
This is new. So like, I know people that want to put some in their savings and some in their checking. You now can split them.
Well, it looks to me like it has to be A. That's the only one that says the allocation. Is A right? 19.
Yes, it is A.
That one through common sense.
Well, see, before we would have been 8.
All right, are we through with scenario 7?
Yes.
How many questions you say there are, Sarah?
Altogether, 25.
Okay, folks, we've got a basic scenario. Emily Clark. Now, did you give me Emily Clark?
Yeah, I gave you both of them.
All right. When you got fill in the blanks, that's why you're doing this. But Sarah was good enough to already give it to you. I want you all to go back and do it anyway. Okay. Now, we're running down through there. Emily's single. She's got 2 little girls. Emily paid more than half her support. Emily was unemployed for 2 months, March and April. Emily is paying off a student loan. All right. She took some courses this year online. Well, she took them at Drew College. Emily and her 2 daughters, Sarah, had qualified health insurance for 10 months. Now, let's see if we can answer some questions. We have all the Social Security cards. We have the Social Security number. We have an intake sheet that you all gave Emily. All right. We've got 3 or 4 pages of that. We've got her W-2s, a couple of them. We got government pay. What were these government payments for?
Unemployment.
Huh?
Unemployment.
Unemployment, folks, is taxable. She have a little bit of retirement or something. She didn't have much. She has an E. What's that E? Her tuition? No, that's student loan interest.
Student loan interest paid.
Tuition statement. Okay. Now she's got a child care. Now she pays what, $1,500 for after school care for Sarah and $1,500 for after school care for Madison, $3,000 total, and so forth. Now she gave you a blank check too, didn't she, for automatic deposit?
Mm-hmm.
Now you all have a lot of these blank checks. Now, folks, what you got to type in is that routing number at the bottom of that check. Sarah, do you have to type that whole thing in?
Let's see. The first number is your number is 111000025. That's the routing number.
Have to have that.
And then you need to put the account number in.
Bank account number.
123456789. And you're gonna actually have to type them in twice.
And what's the other one?
That's the check number.
That's the check number. You don't have to put that in. That's at the top also of the check. But sometimes it's right at the end of that account number. You have to be careful.
Yeah, sometimes it's in between the two numbers. It depends on how it was printed out. So always check the check number at the top versus.
So it's just, I think this is the end of the test.
It is.
Now, when you put these in the computer, where that standard deduction was 26.6, that may be in a multiple choice question, but the answer will still be 26.6.
Let's see.
Even in taking the retest, it may be retest.
Yep. On the retest, it is Jacob and Martha have an increased standard deduction for their filing status because they're both 65 years old. So it'd be yes.
Yeah, okay, they may answer it different, but you could answer it.
The retest questions, if you look in the book for scenario 7, are on page 55. And if you look at them, they are the same thing as the first test, but worded a little differently. You might not have, this one might be multiple choice versus the other one was fill in the blank.
Yeah. Okay, folks, we got about 6 to go here, maybe. Okay. Does Emily have to pay a shared responsibility payment on her tax return? Now, I'm going to say no, folks, because she paid it for 10 months, and you can take a short-term exception. Is that right, Sarah?
That's correct. Short gap coverage are 3 months or less.
Now, the amount of her education credit, if you look back at that tuition statement, says 2,800, but the limit is that still 2,000 limit, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
So is that the answer to 20?
Nope.
What?
I got that wrong.
Okay.
I put 2,000. So
I would have too.
went in here and it is on schedule 3, which is 3 pages. It's like a couple pages after yours. 1040.
Did they limit that to the taxes?
Non-refundable credit, and it's.
Oh, the taxes she paid in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where do you have that at, on what page?
Non-refundable credits.
Is that on page 2 of your tax return?
Nope, it's on schedule 3.
I know they put some crazy schedules.
You'll see non-refundable credits up top.
I see schedule A, schedule 3. All right. Credit for child care, 660. Is that what you're looking at?
Mm-hmm. Look right below it.
And then education credit, 400. So what's your answer there, 400?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get, okay. Now, if you have a child credit, or if you have earned income credit, if you didn't pay in a dime, you still get back money. But on this education credit, if you paid in the IRS $3,000, she could have got 2,000 credit, but only 400 qualifies. So jot down 400, what, on line 21, Sarah? 400.
Because that's the only education credit I found anywhere.
All right, you got that, guys? 400? Okay, Emily's total federal income tax withheld will add up her W-2s. What is it, Sarah?
Which number again?
22.
3470, which you'll find on page
You can find that on page 2,
Out
probably.
here, 1040, and it's line 16.
Oh, yeah, they've got all kinds of short forms attached this year, Sarah.
Oh, yeah. I'm seeing this and I'm just like, because I was gonna just do a long, fill out the long form. I'm like, because I couldn't get into the Train Pro web the practice lab when I did mine.
But now, Sarah, on line 17, it's got refundable credits at $11.95.
That's earned income credit.
What is the $26.77?
That is the additional tax credit.
Okay. All right. Now we're looking for what now? What line?
Line 16.
3470, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, we could add those up, folks. Put down 3470. What is the total credit shown on child care credit expense on number 23? I don't know how much you paid in, Sarah, but it should be 600 used to be the most you could get. So what's your answer to 23, or we can look at the tax return?
I got D, but it was wrong. And you have to look at the tax return, and it's line 49 on non-refundable credits,
And how much was it?
660.
6 what?
660.
Now that's C, folks. Now it used to be 20% of the first, 20% of the first so many thousand, and that 600 was the limit. So all I'm guessing here, they upped the limit this year, okay? All right, number 24, Emily is eligible to claim the child tax credit on her 2018 tax return. I'm gonna guess true on that without reading it again. Number 24.
Mhm.
Let's go with true then, guys. And number 25, Emily is subject to 10% additional tax from her 401k distribution. Did you take it out premature?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say true on that one. You pay 10% if you're not 59 and a half. Is that correct on that one, Sarah?
Correct.
Okay, guys, can we go to the computer room now and print out 2 more certificates, basic, and then that intake form? That means 3 certificates. All right, let's go do it. Sarah, we'll probably need you up there to
I know.
go along with us. Better take that book with you, because some of you don't have a long memory like
Even
me.
Nicole said that the questions on the basic, the advanced, when she went through and did it, she said they were ridiculous
Ridiculous easy, or really?
compared to what we've been used to with all the changes.
Oh.